Hello students, and welcome to the Tower. It is here where you will learn of the various kingdoms of Mantica, and with this knowledge perhaps contribute in ending the various conflicts besieging this world. Or die horribly screaming in a ditch somewhere. It all depends on your wisdom and your luck. Now I hope you all read the Abyssal Scholar's book on the ancient history of Mantica. That background information will be required to get a good grasp on the reasons for the current state of conflict on our world. Either way, let's begin the first lesson. Let us speak of the greatest human nation in Mantica. Let us speak of the Kingdom of Basilia. After the War with Winter, Primovantor, the greatest human nation ever known, was left in shambles. Most of its lands ground to dust by the encroaching glaciers near the end of the war, or washed away by massive floods after the war concluded. Most of the remaining lands were forced to fend for themselves, split into minor kingdoms all aiming to rekindle the Primovantor legacy, or blaze their own trail. One such kingdom, and the most successful, was the Kingdom of Basilia. Like many young nations, the start of this one was rocky. The chaos of the post-war world was brutal, as rising nations faced starvation, natural disasters, and the less-than-natural marauding forces of orcs, goblins, and abyssal demons aiming to inflict havoc on the land, not to mention other humans, in the form of rival kingdoms and bandit kings, who wished to make Basilia its own. The Kingdom of Basilia had been fighting at this point for centuries, and although they made a good accounting of themselves, they could sadly not stand forever. It all came to a head in a brutal battle between the remaining forces of Basilia and a tide of orc marauders. The orcs looking to crush the Paladin Defenders and ravage the lands as they usually do. It was in that moment of what seemed like inevitable defeat that the hegemon of Basilia screamed up into the heavens. He swore that if the Shining Ones aided them, he would swear his and his nation's loyalty to them forever. And strangely enough, the usually fickle Shining Ones listened. In a brilliant burst of light, a figure from myth appeared. Damavar, the being who sacrificed his life to slay the wicked god Ascan. With eyes full of holy fire, he looked upon the hegemon and asked him to swear his oath once more, and the hegemon did so without hesitation, cutting his hand and letting the blood strike the floor as he swore the same oath of fealty. The oath sealed in blood, another burst of light appeared, and it is said that thousands of Elohi, the winged holy warriors of the Shining Ones, appeared to destroy the orcs. The numbers might have been a bit exaggerated, but considering the horde was killed to the very last orc, it must have still been substantial. Since then, the Kingdom of Basilia has been a shining beacon to humanity. It has two major cities to its name: Primovantor, the original capital of the Primovantor Empire that they simply use as a symbol of the old nation's folly, and Goldenhorn, the real seat of Basilian power. It is here where you will find the center of human trade, and a city full to bursting with the most powerful warriors and wizards of the human lands. Although the Kingdom of Basilia believes it is the true successor of old Primovantor, it is not exactly the same nation. The original Primovantor was a republic, its members elected by representatives and all of that nonsense. The Kingdom of Basilia is less that, and more ultra-conservative theocracy. With the oath of fealty to the Shining Ones, the people of Basilia became truly pious souls, worshipping the Shining Ones like true zealots. And although that faith gives them great power and conviction on the battlefield, it also has a dark side. With your gods literally watching over you, it isn't hard to believe yourself to be part of the most blessed and most important of the human nations, and you would do anything to keep that status. Removing anything you believe that the Shining Ones would find faulty. Many a misplaced word or heightened emotion turning a group of pious souls into an angry mob, going after those that they perceive as agents of the Abyss. The Shining Ones may be gods of good, but that doesn't mean their worshippers aren't prone to do evil in their name if they believe it justified. and the leader of this nation of holy warriors is the current hegemon of Basilia. Both king and high priest, the hegemon may as well be the voice of the gods to those below him, and where the hegemon points, the army attacks. The backbone of the forces of Basilia are the men-at-arms, soldiers with the best arms and armor men can buy, and a faith that can steel their souls against the worst the world can offer. And offer it can, as those military veterans have faced every terror imaginable, from abyssal demons to hordes of undead. You can usually see them holding the line fighting with broad-bladed spears called kuliskos, or at range with crossbows and arbalists. In peace, which is rare, paladins are usually in seclusion, praying to the Shining Ones, aiding the sick and needy, or preserving knowledge. However humble their off-time is, in battle they can be as vicious and brutal as any orc commander. Paladin foot guards fight with heavy armor, and wield two-handed swords known as Sparthians into battle. Some are on barded chargers, fighting atop their mounts with shields and long lances. They are often led by a high paladin. He or she is both warrior and monk, and if especially skilled and powerful, is capable of taming a powerful dragon. Alongside the high paladin, or even in lieu of one, you might find a chaplain, able to wield magical power through their faith alone, highly respected, for only the most devoted can wield the Shining One's power. Between the foot guard and the upper echelons are the Paladin Defenders, the elite of the elite, the mightiest of the Paladin warriors, and the ones you call in to ensure that a particular smiting is done in the most effective and usually most explosive way possible. Although paladins are powerful, and wield the very power of the Shining Ones, they do have limitations. If they go into a battle that the Shining One perceives as unjust, the paladins will slowly lose their powers. If that happens, you can be assured that the paladins will stop fighting immediately. And if they are intelligent, commanders will follow suit. In the deep wilderness, far from the rule of the hegemon, you will find the convents, isolated bastions of holy worship that are all almost exclusively female. In this wild and dangerous wilderness, they must learn to fight to survive, as they are too far from other Basilian forces to ever truly receive help in a timely manner. They generally eschew armor, instead focusing on speed and specializing as skirmishers, light cavalry, scouts, and infiltrators, many of them having a preference for heavy flails and glaives. The especially skilled are known to use gur panthers as mounts, the large hunting cats much faster than their size would indicate. The leader of a convent is a holy warrior known as abbess. The power of their faith is as strong as any paladin chaplain, although they tend to focus less on magic and more on killing their foes in the most brutal way possible. Now I spoke of the many warrior organizations in Basilia, but they don't usually fight individually. They fight as a combined force, and you need leaders capable of, well, leading them. And they come in many forms. The Palace Guard, powerful ogre warriors that only answer to the hegemon. Priests, shouting the word of the Shining Ones as they fight in battle. Dictators, bombastic leaders drawn from all ranks who have a strong skill in leadership. And war wizards, who specialize in various forms of destructive magic. But if, for whatever reason, the humans aren't enough, then it is time for the warriors of the gods to step forward. The Elohi, beautiful winged warriors that unleash holy fire on those they define as evil. The leader of a group of these Elohi is known as a Elohi, and they tend to be the most powerful of their kind. Many are the stories of these singular holy warriors taking out whole armies on their own. And although not an Elohi, I would be remiss if I did not speak of the Phoenixes, the symbol of Basilia, and summoned by wizards to rip through their enemies with fiery fury. Burning evil with fire is a fairly common theme for the Kingdom of Basilia now that I think about it. Well, that's enough for today, students. We will speak on another army at a later date. For now, read Descartes' lecture on the power of faith and take it all in. There will be a test on it tomorrow.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video on the Kingdom of Basilia in Kings of War. If you like it and want me to do more videos in the Kings of War universe, please like, subscribe, comment, press the little bell, all the things that the YouTube algorithm requires in order for my video to be put out there for people to see. If you really like it though, please consider giving a little money my way, if you have the extra cash, to my Patreon and my Ko-fi account. The extra money gives me the time I need to work on these stories I love. Anyway, thanks for listening/watching, and see you next time.